This is a HeadGum podcast.
Celebrity Book Club. Who's that knocking at the door? It's all your friends, you filthy whore. Your husband's gone and we've got books and a bottle of wine to kill. It's Hollywood. It's books. It's gossip. I'm shook. It's memoir. It's martinis. It's Studio 54. It's Celebrity Book Club. Come read it while it's hot. Celebrity Book Club. Tell your secrets, we won't talk. Celebrity Book Club. No boys are allowed. Celebrity Book Club. Say it loud and proud. Celebrity Book Club.
Buzz me in, I brought the Cuervo.
Hey, best friend! Oh my God, Lily!
Stephen Phillips Horst.
Lily fucking Murad, I'm so excited to see you. I feel like it's been months since we last recorded.
No, I know. It always feels this way where it's like, we did this last week and I'm just like, but have I seen you?
So much has happened just in terms of the world and
oh my God, yes.
sort of mask mandates coming down. I'm going to the gym now sans mask and it's so liberating.
Wait, really?
It was so fab. And can I say this? Sorry not to brag, but literally my first day at the gym without a mask, I got recognized.
Stop.
Yes.
By who? Just like a gay guy?
I mean, yes, he was a gay guy, but no, but
I'm not dismissing
he was
that
a fan,
at all.
and he was like, he came up to me, he was just like, "Are you Steven?" And I was like, he was like, well, first of all, he said this weird thing. He was like, "I used to follow you online," and I was like, "You used to?"
No, people do that. Like I had
feel like
a girl come up to me at the Honey's Holiday Fair, not to name drop an amazing local business, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're so funny. Someone once showed me your Instagram, and then I never followed you."
She told you she didn't follow you.
Yeah, but it was funny when someone showed it to me. That's like cool.
He said that he was this big fan and he would show his friends all my videos with this whole story. I think maybe he was implying that he had wasn't on social media anymore or something.
Totally.
I feel like
anyway,
it's very
this is no pity party here.
No, I was super
follow
excited.
Follow us or don't, whatever.
No,
cool.
literally, I don't
Live
care.
your life, unplug. Go to an ashram.
So anyway, it's been a crazy week, is I think what we're trying to say. But we should probably...
Anyway, I'm so happy for you.
Yes, thank you. And I'm happy that you got to hear that story. And I just think one of the reasons this week has been crazy is because we read a really psychotically...
amazing, epic sauce, cuckoo book.
That is a saga of New York City. And I think really speaks to our lives and our
Northern
experience.
California, Syracuse.
Yeah. I mean, places that we all have real connections to.
Also, it's an Italian-American book, and I am a proud Italian-American.
Yes, everyone knows that you are extremely proud.
But we should introduce our guest.
Yes. So we decided to bring on someone for this very special episode who also intersects with a lot of these worlds that we're talking about. Fashion, PR, downtown New York City, etc.
Ingenue actress.
Ingenue actress, the 2000s, the 2010s, the 2020s.
Vintage clothing.
Getting
beaten down.
112 pounds.
Sorry. Applause for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's coming out from behind the curtain, even though she's not supposed to yet because we haven't opened it.
And her name is...
Ladies and gentlemen, none other. You know her from
the podcast
Red Scare. You know her from, soon you will know her from the HBO show Succession.
Which Steve and I famously fought about.
And
now you have to eat your shit because...
I'm still not going to admit that I watch it.
You don't watch it.
I literally don't watch it. And
I watch it.
And
anyway.
Now she can add director, filmmaker, writer to her resume. She has a very good urban horror flick called The Scary of 61st. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking, of course, about Dasha Nekrasova. Wait, I said that
God.
completely
You
wrong.
said it totally
Wait, fuck.
wrong. Nekrasova.
No,
sorry.
It's okay.
That's how I went silent because I was like, I knew you told it to me, but it just left my brain.
You think it's too foreign?
Nekrasova.
Do you think it's because I deliberated changing it when I was entering the entertainment industry?
At Ellis Island, when you entered the entertainment industry.
Wait, so you were going to be so old Hollywood and like Cary Grant is actually like Carrie, whatever, just like Shapiro.
Carrie
Blagojevich.
Yeah.
No, you will not change yourself.
Well, what were you going to change it to?
Well, my parents also softly disowned me in my mid-20s because I was such a loser, kind of late bloomer. And they were really disappointed in me, and I kind of wanted to change my name and spite them. And I was going to change it to Dasha Bogdanovich. And then when people would ask me if Peter Bogdanovich was my dad or related to me, I would just say, I don't want to talk about my family.
Sorry, who is Peter Bogdanovich?
Who? All I'm thinking thinking of
Don't worry
Rob
about it.
I'm
Blagojevich.
thinking of Blagojevich.
More Chicago heads over here.
Is he equally like mired in scandal, this person?
No, he's a filmmaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was a little
it's
more
co-
like, fuck you, mom and dad. Like, I'm actually like this, like,
I'm the wayward
Daughter
child of
of-
like Jim Jarmusch or whatever. Is it that category?
okay, Stephen.
It's like 70s. He's known for his work in the 70s with like Sybil Shepherd and stuff. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
fabulous.
I'm guessing he hasn't directed Cameron Diaz.
Not as far as I know.
This is why I don't know who he is.
I became a Sybil head from the L Word, and then I started watching this year her sitcom Sybil.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
It's about her being an actress. You might
should
relate.
really watch
and it's like all of her ex-husbands are like coming in and out, which is very
That's so fun.
the author of our book.
So the book that we read this week that our guest has also read
Three times,
is by Kelly Cutrone, PR maven, fashion publicist,
rock star,
reality
yogi.
TV. You know her from the show Cal on Earth, which was 8 episodes.
Mama Wolf.
She was also on The City for
Also
multiple
on
And
the
seasons.
Hills.
And The Hills. And her book is called If You Have to Cry, Go Outside and Other Things Your Mother Never Told You.
Which is basically the same title formation as the Barbara Corcoran book we read and Judge Judy's book, which we haven't done, which is If You're Pissing on My Leg, Don't Tell Me It's Raining.
I like the way that you sort of rephrase that. It's don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. But
Wait, what did I say?
You kind of made it present tense. Like
It lives
you're
present
pissing
in
on
my
my-
mind.
I feel like you did the thing that like people are always accusing the New York Times of doing, like to like
Changing to present
changing to
tense.
present tense to make Israel like not culpable for its crimes or whatever.
When people start canceling people for grammar online, I'm like tapping out
You're,
over here.
Yeah.
You're like, sorry, sis, I'm not a grammarian.
Yeah. So, Dasha, will you tell us how many times you've read this book?
3 times, which is not, I mean, it's a pretty short book. And the first time I read it was years ago. And then I was rereading it because I play a publicist on Succession, which Stephen doesn't watch, but you do. And
Iconic, by the way.
thank you. But I was trying to do some like character work, kind of like
You're saying
4
the
months.
show's iconic or
Method.
it's iconic that she's on the show? Because she didn't make the show.
No, iconic that she's on the show.
Okay, true.
But
I
also
wasn't-
my commitment to
Yeah, no, I'm saying
inhabiting
the
the
method
life of a
of-
publicist.
yes.
So I was rereading it, and then I had been listening to your podcast, big fan. And so I texted Stephen and suggested that you talk about it, and then he invited me on.
He said, get on, bitch.
I said, let's fucking do this thing.
And so then I read it again, like last night, this morning to prep.
People say, like, I heard someone say once, like, people make fun of people for rereading books, but they don't make fun of people for listening to the same song over and over again.
Hell yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah.
And I always kind of
yeah.
thought that was a little insane. But
I love that,
Well, because the song's 3 minutes long.
Exactly.
and a book is mad long.
And a book is an insane commitment. And the second I open it, I'm like, oh.
Life is finite, and
I'm obsessed that this is the book that's your rereading book because I feel like most people are always like, oh, it's Old Man in the Sea or whatever. And I read that every
most, like,
year.
middle school English class book. Like,
Just like a random man.
a classic. Yeah.
Yes. But I think I'm going to read this book every year.
I would say it's a classic. Well, I think what's interesting, you were saying like you use it at different times of your life. One was when you wanted to like figure out what you were going to do with yourself.
it was recommended to me, and I actually had it in hardcover.
Damn.
And I took the book jacket off, so it had like a black hardbound with like golds, like if you have to cry, go outside.
Oh, where it's like, what's the word? Embossed. Inlaid.
Yeah.
Reverse embossed, whatever.
Yeah, and I was just kind of at like a transitional period in my life. I had graduated college like 4 years ago, so I didn't really know what I was doing.
And it makes sense. So she's a very, she has an unorthodox road to stardom and success.
hell
which
yeah.
she talks about every paragraph in this book.
Yeah.
And her whole thing is being like, yeah, sorry, I did everything backwards. Launched my own company, then had a controversial art opening, then became addicted to drugs, then had a baby, then got married. Yeah, sorry, sue me.
I was like, I'm so obsessed with her because like every line, she's just like, yeah, sorry, I was living in the Lower East Side and I had to take tequila shots to even walk home because I lived amongst
Wait.
punk rockers,
Which-
artists, junkies.
So she moves to the East
Her
Village.
tribe.
Her tribe.
Her tribe.
So,
She's like, yeah.
tribal council.
Sorry.
So,
Oh, okay, wait. So she says this concept. She's like, you need to have a tribal council of elders, of like people who are your mentors, who tell you what to do at all, you can
Rely on them.
Rely on in hard times.
Your chosen
and give them a call,
family.
Yes. So there's the tribal council, and then there's
there's the wolf pack, which is all the girls who live in her live workspace.
her big Soho loft, where she's like, I still can't believe the elevator opens up into my live workspace.
But then you watch the show Cal and Earth, and it's the most chaotically she's so the opposite of Bethany. Bethany is a psycho, and her business doesn't do anything, and her office is empty and just has 4 couches and one gay, and the Kel on Earth office is there's so much shit everywhere. It's there's so many. It's almost a joke about a newspaper office from the 70s, and just every corner is crammed with papers and stickers and just straight girls crying, and you're oh my god, it's very stressful to watch.
Yeah, bags and bags and bags and bags of stuff that the interns have to reorganize constantly.
The interns are really a lot more. They're more. What's the word?
Well, I think wasn't the show on kind of in the height of intern life? You know what I mean? I feel there was an interns revolt that was I'm sorry, I will not intern 9 hours a day. That is...
Okay. Internships go. What were yours?
I worked at a contemporary art magazine called Extra and when I moved to Los Angeles.
You were an intern for an LA art magazine.
Yeah.
Called Extra.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had to climb up ladders to get old back issues and stuff. And sometimes I would fantasize about falling and getting hurt really bad.
and getting workman's comp, getting work person's comp.
It was unpaid. I mean,
wow.
How many hours? Yeah, how many hours were you clocking in at Extra a day?
20 a week.
Okay.
I think.
Was this for college credit?
No, this was post-college. This was me trying to
Post-college, you took an unpaid internship?
I mean, I was so lost. That's why I read Kelly Cutrone's book. I didn't know what to do.
I was offered an unpaid internship at Huffington Post after college, and I turned it down because I said, I'm supposed to get a job. Someone said, get a job after college.
Well, both these
I can't not make
things
money.
are very Kelly Cutrone because you getting a job is very her Italian-American Syracuse parents being you go to nurse school and you make money. We're not going to support you. But then she's also is always I'm a mama wolf and you need to find out what you want to do before you're 35. And
Right.
whether that's visiting a temple or conversing with LGBTQ people.
Wait, the part where you remember the line, I forget it now, when she was just she's talking about the kind of interns whose applications she accepts or would be willing to read.
How to Write an E-Bill, which Barbara Corcoran also does in her book.
They're very women of a certain era who say that they're such ballbusters and so anti-conformist, but actually want a very specific thing out of their young, thin female applicants.
Yes.
And she's I don't care if you went to Harvard or Radcliffe or Poughkeepsie or whatever. If you send me an email saying that you raised $735 because you were inspired by one of my YouTube fashion shows and you raised that money for a women's battered shelter, then I will open that email and hire you. And it's wait, what?
Well, I was watching a clip of her on just Chelsea Lately or The Hills or one of the things, and she was I don't read resumes, which also feels very Bethany She-Boss, just so kind of what are you bringing to me, you know?
But then very also Bethany, she'd be but sometimes I will read a resume and I will call you back on the phone and I will ream out a girl in front of everyone else and write
Giving
her a
good
personal letter.
phone is a big part of the Kelly Cutrone shows.
She's obsessed with, what's funny, so this book was written in 2010.
Yeah.
Big
And-
2010 vibes across the board.
Which
in
I
the book.
want to get into in a bigger way.
Okay, for sure.
In terms of style and restaurants and fashion brands that she works with.
Yeah.
But she bemoans the loss of voice communication. And she's I hate looking at this office of all these PR girls and everyone's click-clacking away on their laptop, sending emails. No one's picking up the phone.
She also references, which is very 2010, she's everyone is just on their BlackBerry. It's such a BlackBerry book.
Well, when I started working in politics, I had a BlackBerry. And I started working in politics in 2009, which was actually after I turned down the Huffington Post internship.
Good for you.
Thank you. Well, because I had applied to be the business editor. I went to the office to have this interview, and they were like, "Wait, sorry, you're 22?
You're not the business
You're not
editor.
the business editor. You don't know anything about business. You just went to NYU and majored in nothing. You can't be the business editor."
But then Kelly Cutrone at 23 was head of PR for Spin magazine, so it's also
head of PR for Spin?
For a magazine.
It's like a magazine's already a magazine. So you're just trying to get articles about Spin written in what? Vanity Fair?
I feel like you're more interfacing with other publicists, maybe, who want things
written in Spin. Yeah.
Written in Spin.
Yeah, it's more yes.
No, but if you're PR for Spin, you're trying to get good press for Spin.
Fiona Apple's people are reaching out to her, and then they're all meeting at some weird lounge.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was also a time though when there were just more jobs, when you could just be when she's I was watching Kel on Earth, and she was like, "This is my friend. He's done the Q&A in the back of Vanity Fair for 25 years." When doing the Q&A in Vanity Fair was a job that you got paid for regularly, and that was it.
Well,
and,
yeah,
that was
the whole
in this clickbait economy.
And this clickbait economy, I'm sorry, but that's a fucking freelancer who's getting paid $100.
No, it's very when people on Twitter calculate how much Carrie would make now. They're like, sorry, if Carrie is making $2 per word, how does she afford her apartment? How does she get
maybe as a Carrie, aka someone who literally has a column and wears expensive clothes, I will say that I have a secret copywriting job. So maybe Carrie was literally being a copywriter the whole time when they never showed it.
Would it be gauche? I know we're kind of past the subject, but I didn't get to say what my internship was.
Oh, please.
Oh, wait.
No,
We're still on the subject.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're still in this tangent.
I interned for the Jerry Springer Show. It's kind of my claim to fame in life. So
that's very cool.
Yeah. And it was very 12 hours a day, so
paid?
Many unpaid. It was this is supposed to be 20 hours a week, but they didn't allow me to leave till the day was done.
Right.
And they filmed 3 shows a day.
3 shows a day?
So sometimes I
would
What year
was that?
8.
Wow. I feel like the Jerry Springer Show, if it was on TV now, we wouldn't have such a contentious discourse and culture because we would all be blowing off steam watching stuff
the Springer Show.
Exactly.
Well,
that seemed like a much more healthy and vibrant way of processing.
But the thing about the Stringer Show, though, was, you were
the Scott Stringer Show.
The Scott Stringer Show. Another one who's my former boss. Wait, that's so funny. I work for Scott Stringer. You work for Jerry Springer.
Wow. No, it's
spirit is present.
Spirit.
Mm-hmm. So, but you what you saw was a very exploitative economy.
No, I would.
You were finding these toothless
sad.
people from Kentucky who were so sad and obese and fucking their sister or whatever, and then
my job was to take them out.
They would get flown to Chicago. It was the first time they'd ever been on a plane, first time they'd ever seen a city, and Lily would take them to Outback Steakhouse. And they would be
show them Chicago as their
God damn, this water is so cold.
No, this woman. So I was taking this woman who had very one sprig of hair for a makeover in Chicago, and it was a revolving door, and she was being very just I've never seen one of those, and just I had to emotionally guide her through the revolving mall door.
That is so insane.
Because she was being very just that's a witch door. Why is it moving on its own? But then I was also and we'll move on, but it was very seeing everyone was I then, you have to take everyone out. And it was I was taking out this guy who was accused of shaking his baby so much that it gave the baby autism. And we went to go see Resident Evil
everyone with
together.
an autistic kid has a different theory how it got there.
So,
you know what
I know. And I was
I could talk about Jerry Springer for...
Yeah, we could go on about that. So,
and of course, I interned for CNN famously before Anderson Cooper was out. And we would make eye contact on the newsroom floor when we were both gay. And we did the eye contact that gays do when it's he knows that I know that he is gay.
You knew he was gay.
Well, yeah, but it was rumored that he was gay at the time, but he wasn't out. We would both be gay walking at the fastest pace. Just literally almost running, that Olympic sport, speed walking or whatever. That's what we were both doing.
Is that a sport?
It's really a sport because it's
the gay Olympics.
Lugeing or something.
Yeah.
It's your foot can't touch the ground or whatever at the same time. There's some weird rule about it. But we would literally be just making eye contact and like with our eyes alone, I would be like, I know you're gay.
Iced
He'd
coffee's
be like,
rattling around.
No, clanging, ice clanging away. Like as I'm walking by, papers are flying off people's desks because I'm like, have like such an airspeed behind me. Just like this full wind tunnel. And then like in our eyes alone, it would be him being like, I know that you know that I'm gay and you can't say anything. And there was like 4 other silver foxes on his staff that were all his like top deputies.
Ooh.
Also, Psycho.
Also, are we in his area right now?
Hell's Kitchen.
We're in like middle-aged.
Yeah, we're in Silver Fox country.
Yeah, Silver Fox. Was there ever a moment in the bathroom?
No.
Okay, it was just eyes locked.
I'm sure he used a different bathroom.
Yeah.
He wasn't using the like public-facing intern-used bathroom.
Okay.
Speaking of Anderson Cooper in the news, can we talk about how Kelly Cutrone talks about how brave she was for putting on the Rachel Comey show on the 1-year anniversary of 9/11?
That was...
Yeah, she killed Fashion Week that year.
No, she's
Everyone was too scared.
Everyone was so nervous to put on a fashion show in the tents at Bryant Park, and she was like, I'm sorry, New York has to come back to life.
Yeah.
We're doing Rachel
We need
Comey.
to give people beauty.
Hell yes.
What we need after 9/11
is Rachel fucking Comey. Oh, wait, also, because she loves councils, and I feel like she's like, and a bunch of us fashion insiders had a meeting right after 9/11 to discuss the fashion week.
I have the
because it
passage
happened
right
during
here.
Fashion
Yes.
Week.
She goes, we wondered, where's the rule book for this? Are we allowed to do something so frivolous and shallow as a fashion show on the first anniversary of such a tragedy with so many people to be honored and so many families' feelings to be respected? But then she goes, I thought Fashion Week was a great way to bring beauty back into the world. So while my competitors backed off the fashion show time slots at the Bryant Park tents on September 11th, 2002, I made a deal with IMG, the company that produces Fashion Week, to take all 3 tents for my clients and produce an arduous load of 6 shows on the same day. Among them, as for Jeremy Scott, Alexandra Hershowitz, and Rachel Comey.
That day being 9/11.
9/11.
That's to be 9/11.
And it's just like
2002.
2002, Jeremy Scott. It's like long black t-shirts, big boots, stomping down. And she's like, this is what this fucking city is about.
Hell yes.
We won't cower.
Beauty. I mean, the beauty of Rachel Comey. I didn't realize that Rachel Comey was around in 2001.
I walked Rachel Comey also.
We have
Okay, we
forgot
have
to
a Rachel Comey model here.
Forgot
Excuse me.
to put runway model in your bio. Pardon me.
Sorry, but yeah, so.
Wow.
Wow,
Was
not
that-
to one-up you, but I've cleaned the Rachel Comey store, so pick your fighter.
Oh, wait, and I weirdly played like Glockenspiel at a weird art opening there. So we all
Club
have
Kids,
a
write us
connection
what your connection is.
to the
with-
Comey store is.
Celebrity Book Club.
So much of this book, the show Cal on Earth, the city, the other reality show that she was on,
Your internship.
your internship, my internship at CNN, my
Yeah.
internships, your internship, Springer, took place in the late 2000s, early 2010s, sort of the Purple magazine heyday, end of the American Apparel era. Like, this was a cheesy time when, like, I mean, I lost my virginity after going to the Misshapes party. Like, this was the time of headbands. And
This was the time of me going into an American Apparel where my friends worked at American Apparel saying, no one's looking.
and walking
stuffing,
out. Right.
Stuffing
Talk
the
about
back.
getting
back.
stuffed.
Yeah.
You
No.
were walking out with like 2 fucking cargo bags full
For
of
one
merch.
Christmas, I gave my sister and mom, talk about moms getting stuffed, I was giving her American Apparel that Christmas. Mm-hmm. That helped her out.
Those thigh highs with the 3 stripes.
Deep V's to my dad.
But when she starts her new PR company on her like second career poster meth in LA, moving back to
People's
New York.
Revolution.
People's Revolution,
name.
which is so like red, the charity, like in parentheses red, which
so
by the way,
red.
my phone is a red phone, which still exists.
By the way,
Well, she says, I named my company People's Revolution not because I'm a communist. a popular misconception.
Yeah, everyone thinks she's a communist.
But because I happen to believe that the world will change only when we change ourselves. And that starts with finding ourselves. And that starts with listening to ourselves.
What? the idea that the world only changes when you do PR for Steve Madden. It's like, what? It's so crazy because the companies that she represents are all these they're all these like mid-market level brands. Like
she's not a communist. Okay?
She's not a communist. She's a publicist for Jeremy Scott, and she is changing the world.
Sass and Bide. It's like anything that would be carried at Intermix. I feel like that's very the brand. The episode I watched, it was like DEFCON 5. There were so many fires to put out because the Genetic Denim show was going up, and they had a tree made out of denim. Oh my God. And it was just like in this random room, and it's like, what is this brand? It's the most like 2009 to 2014 brand of like kind of loose denim that's actually founded by a straight guy. Like this was also such a like
Diesel jeans.
It was Diesel
Aftermath.
It was Diesel jeans Aftermath. They weren't even that whiskered though. They were just kind of like tight and like loose and like. And they would kind of be influencer-y today. You know, long torsos were very in at that time. Yeah. Like, torsos have never been longer than 2010 when, like, Nikki Hilton would wear, like, a wife beater that was just, like...
Well, yeah, because I feel like the hottest thing you could do was show that bit of skin. Did you ever do that? Where it's like the tank, it's hard to kind of, to our listeners.
No, but even
that strip, that's like right here.
Yeah.
You have the tank top
laying. The midriff? Is that your
No, because it's not like full
it's
belly.
Below midriff.
You're showing just a little above crotch and a little below belly button.
I'd also just like to point out that I did wear all black.
Wait, like Kelly Cutrone?
Yeah,
Oh my God, you're
currently wearing all black.
Yeah,
I feel like an idiot that I'm not in all black. Like her right now.
Didn't even occur to me.
I was like, what am I going to wear to the podcast? I was like, I'll wear all black.
Of course, because it's an event.
Of course.
And she makes all her girls wear all black at an event.
And she only wears black. Always, always, always.
Which she says is because she doesn't look good in color.
Mm-hmm. But that can't be true.
Well, she is also
gorgeous
such
Italian woman like her.
Oh, a beautiful Italian woman. The end also, when it gets so just like the cannoli, all of a sudden it's just like, and the cannolis and the pepperonis and the cold cuts were flowing through. Like it gets like so just like full mob wives where she's like, my father looks like a baked branzino as he was dying.
Because she's like not at all being that Italian ever. She's like not speaking with that accent, which doesn't care.
She really denounced it and kind of favored this like Hindu.
Okay, wait. So this passage really illustrates it that I want to discuss where she talks about being a mama wolf. It won't surprise you that when we order catering during Fashion Week to sustain us through the long nights we spend in the office, seating shows and putting out fires, Robin, Emily, and I always eat before the mid-level team, which eats before the assistants who aren't allowed to touch the food until the rest of us have taken what we want. The senior team brings in the clients after all, and the clients pay for the food. Like wolves, we share our kill with our children.
Oh my, I mean, that's very me at Springer because I would deliver deep dish pizza at McDonald's to the guests and the producers.
Wait, sorry, would the producers eat first and then the mid-level associate producers?
No, it was more about me delivering food to all the like scary guests. And I'd be delivering them like sacks of McDonald's, but then also the entire staff also ate the McDonald's. No one was like salad for me. It was like McDonald's deep dish pizza. And I would deliver it. And then while running through the rooms, I would like take my deep dish slice and like, secretly eat it. I'm
really concerned about the BMI of the Springer staff.
Well, I mean, it was a hot staff. I was like horny for all of them. They were like hot, cheesy chicks. One of...
So, I mean, CNN was all full of the cheesiest chicas. TV is a lot of like straight girls with knockers and like
I mean, I think because the guy who's the executive producer of Springer was like fully like the most disgusting Ron. Who's that famous porn star? Ron
Jeremy.
He looked like Ron Jeremy. Anyway, I actually lost 10 pounds working at Springer because I was running so much, which is very your theory, calories in, calories out. Yes, I was eating McDonald's, but I was running around.
Well, that's so true.
Thank you.
Calories in, calories out.
I mean, it's not so much a theory as it is just like how the body works, but like, yes.
It's true.
Well, let's like actually talk about PR girls for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
let's cut this shit.
Let's fucking cut this shit as fucking Kelly Cutrone would do.
Yeah.
And I have insights into publicity because I play a publicist on Succession, one of the best shows on television.
What are your insights?
Okay, well,
They're personal. But
Okay, so here's the thing.
Sorry. I would never start.
Our publicist, and maybe bleep out her name or whatever, because I feel like she doesn't want people to know that she's a publicist. But she's incredibly talented.
Fantastic.
She's really good. And
Eventually, I do want to hire her as my publicist. I just have not yet.
And I'm waiting for her memoir, which obviously will happen.
She's a maven.
yeah, she's a maven. It'll happen.
And it'll be Kate on Earth.
But what she does, though, which is I think what Kelly does when she's actually being a publicist, is you are pitching press. You are calling up reporters that you have an existing relationship, and you are saying, this person is interesting for XYZ reasons, and you need to write about them, and you need to do it fucking now because they're hot shit. And it's like, that is a real job. That is a real skill set to have. It requires fucking balls of steel. It requires like shamelessness, and it requires a confidence. And you also kind of have to make a name around yourself, which she also does. So that people like actually take your word to be legitimate.
Well, that's a very like Kelly Cutrone method of doing, because lots of PR girls who I have met are very like demure and kind of like subdued, and a little like maybe in their professional lives they are more ballsy, but they're not doing the Caitlyn
and
thing.
those, you know what? And those are the girls who are emailing and not calling. And okay,
May I reveal that I am dating a publicist?
You're dating a publicist. You're dating a publicist for
But it's very
publishing.
different.
for
It's
books.
very different than Kelly Nurse. She's a publicist for books.
There is also another breed of girl who is on the city a lot and is in this city, New York, a lot, who is not a publicist, who does not call reporters and pitch things, who is basically a glorified door girl. And these girls have some power vis-a-vis events, and they work in event planning, but they like do not have 7 brain cells to rub together other than the ability to just like use power when they have it.
Yeah.
And like use it over people and hold an iPad at a door and like have a guest list or respond to guest lists or whatever. I think that is a narrower slice. And like what Kelly Cutrone is weird about is it's like her business is both event production and PR. And I feel like that's actually not really how it works usually.
Yeah.
I think it's a mix because
But like we know someone who does fashion production, who produces all of Eka Slaughter's shows. She's not also cold emailing the Vogue being like, oh. Like,
no, right. It's like separate.
And I briefly dated the guy who does Telfar's shows. He's not sending a bag of like jeans to like some random reporter in Vancouver.
Very different world. So like my girlfriend does like publicity for like comics, so she does Comic-Con stuff.
Oh wow.
And so she's doing the cold. She's on the phone with like Entertainment Tonight, being like Marvel, blah blah blah. But then she's also like reining in nerds at Comic-Con, being like...
She's doing event work.
Yeah, she's doing event work, being like, no, you actually have to wait here before you, like, attack the Steven Universe, like, whatever, head or something like that. So I think it depends.
PR is amazing.
PR is incredible.
It's amazing. The last thing I want to talk about before we get into segments is her amazing gallery show she puts on.
In the early 90s, during the height of the culture wars.
What would that be like to be in a culture war?
I'm desperately always trying to like reignite the culture wars. I feel like you are too. Like you.
Well, we're in the culture wars.
We are currently.
We're culture wars.
In the 90s, like conservative Republicans were like batting down the doors of like the art galleries and like the museums, and like there was such an insane war, and like gay
it's a
people
different
with AIDS,
culture
you know what I mean?
war, but...
Like,
and Tipper Gore was like, I will not listen to this Public Enemy CD.
To this podcast.
Right.
Yeah. Like Joe Lieberman was just like, video games are destroying our community.
And now we just
like,
have Meghan McCain being like, my great, great father figure, Joe Lieberman, was an amazing friend of my late, great father,
who
John
I
McCain.
love, and I also love my gay hairstylist.
Yes.
It's like the culture wars are much more narrow nowadays, and they're not on the grand scale. They're not as affecting as many people. Like they seem like pitched, but it's only because like everything is pitched because we're on our fucking phones all the
Okay,
time.
so Kelly Cutrone, she's whipping up a meal for her Warhol husband.
Her first husband, Ronnie Cutrone,
And she
who was
just
a pop
has-
artist. I mentioned his art being so annoying.
I'm sure it's
definitely.
so annoyed. Like pre-art bro and whatever that means. I'm sure he's like has a gallery in Hudson now. No offense to our producer who lives in Hudson.
Or any of our listeners who live in Hudson.
So
It's totally a real vibrant community.
again, for the L Word fans out there, the gallery show sounded so provocation.
It was so provocation. So she did this show. Oh, she also was like, this is an example of her doing PR for herself, but it was like literally just for herself. She was
Yeah,
like,
it was for her firm.
Completely.
she was just like, so I decided to do a gallery show at a gallery in Soho, New York City. And I hired
Biggest show of the year.
the biggest show of the year. It was the show to it was very also Sex in the City. They're like, there's this event we're all going to. She gets 3 couples to
LGBTQ,
no,
interracial.
different races,
Yeah.
different genders, different gets them to all make out naked in this gallery.
With the American flag waving.
Ooh.
And she like, you know, printed out the press release. It was 1992, so like back then you were faxing a press release to like Oprah
The
and
dream,
NY1
by the
and
way.
whoever else. And she like
Vogue.
gets her name in the New York Post the next day. She gets all this press. She like does get an NY1. 5,000 people come to the opening. They line up. They're streaming through Soho to get in
Yeah.
to see this crazy show where naked people
And she
are
makes
going to
them
be kissing.
kissing?
Yeah, they're kissing.
Wait,
she makes them,
LGBT?
I think it's like a
People?
black
It was-
couple, a gay couple, and like
It's, you know what it is? It's
A white
also very the
couple.
Christina Aguilera Beautiful video,
yes.
which I was titillated
Or
by.
the
Yeah.
Madonna American Life video. I imagine it very.
Okay, but that was more like Fuck Bush with like grenades and stuff.
Yes.
But they're naked.
They're naked, which is shocking.
and this was American flag. It was free.
It's
It was
just
fuck the
feeling this
original
is-
You've
Bush.
got your browns, your whites, your blacks. Like, they're all kissing.
They're all kissing, and like everyone's shocked
Mm-hmm.
because there's nothing more shocking than an interracial kiss. I'm not even sure if the kisses were interracial. There just may have been a black couple.
Yeah, I could
Or
see.
like an
no,
Asian
she
couple
seems
or-
so
like
interracial
a mix.
kiss.
Well,
yeah.
did you? Okay, the video I sent you last night.
Yeah.
Where she's
She
talking
says-
with the director of like genetic
Genetic
denim
denim.
about who they're going to cast in the genetic
She
denim
goes,
show.
I always want to be a tribal girl or something insane like
she,
that.
She was like, these 2 girls, they're sisters. They look really sisters. Like they've got long hair. We're gonna be wearing all black. It's tribal. And then Kelly Cutrone's like, yeah, I always have wanted to do a tribal look my whole life.
And
But,
it's like, we know, babe, you're like
you're,
so
you're currently in
henna
a sarong and, wearing
yeah.
henna. There's like 17 black and white photos of your.
Also, her use of the word yoga is very loose.
Oh, completely.
She's
Very
like,
expansive
At no
yoga.
point in the book does she mention doing yoga.
No, I know. She
Like,
doesn't actually do it.
she's just a yogi.
She's a yogic person.
and she's like, yeah, we were doing PR yoga. Yeah, me doing this event for the Red Hot Chili Peppers was basically like a yoga event. And you're like, do you actually know what yoga is?
Yeah. Right.
Yoga is anything
For the
where
fine
like,
young cannibals.
Oh, she mentions the Fine Young Cannibals nonstop.
Okay, you guys are music hounds. I don't know what that is. So,
You know. If
but
if
I
you heard
You
it.
can get the
I get the
vibe.
idea.
Rock and roll.
rock and roll, Red Hot
Yeah.
Chili Peppers. I mean, I get the idea. But yeah, so she does this show at the height of the culture wars, and it gets. And I love saying the height of the culture wars. If you
Yeah.
can't tell, and it gets her in the pages of the New York Post. One thing I thought was interesting about this, though, and kind of made me sad, was she had put on the show with her husband at the time, Ronnie.
Yeah.
And she was like, it was this great like moment where the person who you're romantically partner with is also your creative partner, and you have this like
Collab.
symbiosis and this
And then she
Yeah.
says,
gorgeous.
like, and I've never had that again.
Didn't that make you so sad?
I know. And she was like,
Yeah.
that's what true love is. But then I do think, not to be so whatever her teachings, it was like, I feel like her alternative family lifestyle where she's like, yeah, some nights maybe I'm working and my intern is taking a shower and my ex-husband is playing checkers with my current lover and they're teaching my daughter how to play checkers or
Yeah,
whatever.
she's like, there was a male model on the couch, and like he was like playing fake swords with my daughter and her husband and like his dad.
Right.
And-
She's kind of being very lesbian about it, of just being so like, all my exes are here and they're
Yeah.
playing
but,
checkers.
but there's a sadness there. There's a sadness.
Yes, no, it is sad because she's like, no, it's cool. I like don't need to like
She does a lot in the book, do this thing where she's like, yeah, and maybe I don't need a partner. And yeah, maybe if I find someone who's like totally perfect and I'm falling deeply in love with him, and that would be great. But like, I don't have that, and that's fine. And that's okay for me because I'm a mama wolf and I'm like doing my thing.
No, I'm a she-wolf, and it's totally fine. If the perfect guy came along, he had a huge dick and he was my husband and he was really
didn't mind that I have like my own career and I'm doing my own thing. Like,
why would I want to like go to a movie at night, or if a guy came home and was like, hey, do you want to go to dinner? Like, oh yeah, like actually I work till 2 a.m. and I sleep with my BlackBerry, so like I don't need some guy to be like, hey, let's go to dinner.
2.5 children and blah 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 and wash the sheets.
When I'm putting out fires for the Steve Madden show, I don't need a husband texting me pick up the kids. But if a man were there and were supporting me, maybe that would be welcome.
Do a gallery show, like Mama Wolf life. Honestly, I mean, question for you guys. 1, do you feel like you have a tribal council? 2, do you identify as a mama wolf? Or are you still more like warrior and not a mama wolf yet? If this is too personal, I'll leave the podcast.
I don't think I'm a mama wolf yet.
I hope I'm not a mama wolf yet. Last time I checked, I don't have any kids.
I have like a I love my friends.
Right, which is like tribal council.
Which is like a tribal council.
I agree with tribal council. Do you feel like an obligation to like younger folk who like message you and ask for like advice or whatever?
The face you just made, our listeners
Yeah,
can't
I'm
see.
guessing no from that face.
I'm very happy that I have an audience of young people because when I was young and like trying to find my way in the world, I distinctly remember having this feeling of like, wow, there's like no women that I like admire or look up to or like can kind of like aspire to be like. And so to have an audience that feels some kind of way.
So you
about
weren't like
me.
DMing Lucy Liu at age 22, being like, you're an artist or an actress or all of the above.
But you
How
were
do I become
reading this
like
book
you?
many, many times. So it actually, I mean,
well,
not,
I thought, before
not to age you, you're not a mama wolf at all. Maybe I say you're a older sister wolf.
I'm an aspiring mama wolf.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
Older sister wolf? That sounds even older than mama wolf.
It's so like great aunt.
Yeah. Great aunt wolf.
I'm very happy to have had any kind of like influence in the lives of like young people, whatever.
That's so fab.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But at the same time, sometimes the requests, you're like, okay, why don't you simmer down?
Well, I'm not directly responding to requests. Like, I'm happy having an ambient.
No,
kind of,
I'm happy to have the support, but like every time a DM comes
Quiet
through,
noise.
being
I'm not gonna like
Yeah.
let someone live in my apartment,
Right.
you know.
I mean, sometimes like I got a message the other day that was just like, I'm in Senegal and I'm persecuted for my sexuality, and I was like, that's a beautiful story.
Yeah,
But-
like that's crazy.
That's
For my
crazy.
bisexuality? Oh, shout out to our Senegalese bis.
Segment boots. What does she eat? What does she wear? How does she live? Okay, what does she eat?
What does she eat?
Erewhon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously.
Well, she mentions having that spiritual moment outside of Erewhon.
Looking at the
I'm outside of a
pigeon.
health food store in LA called Erewhon.
She's definitely eating health foods. She's taking a lot of supplements.
Tons of kale salads. I mean,
Yes.
she's obsessed with being an office chica, which means eating quickly,
Bowls.
running around, sending an intern to get your coffee.
DoorDash.
All
She's
of the
very
above.
pre-DoorDash. I feel like she's so bike messenger in this very 09 way.
But Lily, do you feel like she ever does kind of like a spaghetti, like Italian?
I think
dinner?
when she's in Syracuse with family, she is like, I'm not gonna hold back. Like I'm not gonna be rude. Like
I think
I'm
she'll
gonna
eat, but
eat
she
the chicken
never
parm.
cooks. She never cooks.
What about for her daughter?
No. She's so Bethany. I think her and Bethany are both being like, "What do you want, honey?" Like, and they're on Goldbelly, like getting like
It
the
is
Momofuku
Goldbelly.
duck
I think
pie,
she's
and then baking it at home.
Yeah.
yes. I think she's stirred in Annie's once, maybe.
Yeah.
And it was the gluten-free Annie's. But I think when she's in Syracuse, she's like, because now she's like close to their parents. I feel like she's like, and when the pepperonis and the cannolis come, she'll do one day of like the big parm
Yeah.
and the cannolis. But when she goes back to the city,
Forget about it. It's sweet green all the way.
Yeah,
I mean, I think she's going to a dinner at Carbone.
for sure.
Yeah, I feel like also it could be she's ordering. She's
In
like,
her
sure.
20s, she's not eating.
Yeah, no.
She's really coveting the 112 pounds. I'm an ingenue. I'm a girl
She
about
talks
town.
about how she was like so thin and small and chic and hot in her 20s. I'd love to see a
wait, hold
photo.
on. Di, she says...
I tried to find it.
She goes on her whole fucking rant about the Union Square Farmers Market. Like, she's the only person who's ever been there. She's like, yeah, grocery stores, be gone.
Anyway, I think she's fucking random and she's not eating, doesn't care about
She's a
food,
vegetarian.
just
and
never cooking.
Yes,
and-
never cooking. She's at Union Square Farmers Market.
She eats to live. She doesn't live to eat.
Exactly.
She's buying apples. She's getting like a gluten-free apple crumb thing for Ava and giving it to her.
And having everybody like, this is delicious, this is awful, take it away from me.
Yes, because she's like, oh, and they have those sick turkeys in cages. Oh, and we're supposed to fucking celebrate
Wait, wasn't there
Thanksgiving?
Was there this
She
book?
doesn't do any vegan signaling, so that
No,
you know
no,
she's
yes.
eating like whatever.
Wait,
Yeah.
was it another book where she was like, go online and look up what they do to chickens or something? That wasn't this book? Okay, sorry. Listen, a lot of these ladies are running together in my head. Okay.
But I think the interns, right, are whipping up the Annies for Ava and they're ordering. And then she brags about going to the farmer's market, but I'm sure it's, once
She
every
also
moon.
like does something once and then says it's a lifestyle. Like
Yeah.
she will go and be like, everyone should go. It's amazing. There's vegetables everywhere.
She gave muffins to homeless people once.
Exactly.
It's like her whole personality.
Right, and then she says like, and I'd often be found traipsing through Tompkins Square Park, handing out muffins to the homeless folk. There they go. There she goes again, the muffin lady. It's like, bitch, that happened once.
I also am sure she's fucking going to that Whole Foods on Houston. I do not believe that, like, every single day she's at that Union Square Farmers Market.
Certainly not.
course.
Listen, I was there the other day. I bought
She's so
ramps. I didn't see her
busy.
Yeah,
ass.
busy. She's doing the buffet. She's gonna,
Yeah.
Okay, what does she wear? Obviously,
black tees, all black.
all black.
Dasha's
And-
outfit.
Black only.
But she's also into like very forgiving things, tunics. She's very into Indian and yoga garb, sarongs, big like punches and tunics. And I mean, when she's pregnant, she has the whole section where she's like, my friend told me to go buy like,
I couldn't wear like
I couldn't wear maternity clothes.
Oh, and she
Yeah,
buys
they
like these
made me
awesome
feel-
sauce tunics or whatever.
yeah, from like an ashram.
She buys like ashram gear or whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess, and not to be looksist or whatever, but yeah,
Totally.
I do feel like on the show, like she is mad greasy.
Well,
Yeah.
her thing is not wearing makeup because she's honest. And
Like
other
Jessica
PR
Alba.
people
And busy.
and busy. She's honest and busy, and she's honest about how busy she is.
But she could wear a little more makeup.
Not
But
even.
she's
I
like
just
other
like to
PR
wash
people
the
are.
hair. I don't know.
Okay, but her whole thing about
But
PR
she
is
also
that
said like the first question in the little like Q&A portion of the book is like, do you brush your hair? And she's like, I brush it once and then I get to work and I whatever. Like I put it in a ponytail or maybe I don't. And it's like, but always, always, always it looks so stringy and greasy. Yeah. And I'm like,
looks
I don't know.
super stringy.
We also must. I mean,
mean,
she is
I would-
also a rocker.
I would
But
like
at some point in the book, she alludes to wearing wigs.
yes, at the height of the culture wars.
And why not
was-
wigs?
She was wearing wigs all the time, and at that opening, she was wearing a wig.
Why not a wig then?
When she's because I think she found
Then why every time we see her, she has to be
hadn't-
so greasy?
Okay, because she had not yet decided that part of her brand was being honest. Because her whole thing about PR is she calls people on the phone and she's like, listen, I'm going to level you with you.
Oh,
this
yeah, she
album's not good, but this rocker's someone you want to write about. He's going to be the next biggest thing. Like, she is the only honest PR woman in all of New York.
Right, all
and
of
so
New York City.
in order
Ooh.
to make that brand consistent, she has to, on her reality show, not wear makeup and have greasy hair.
Well, she says, so there's a chapter about building your brand. And in it, she says, I describe my brand today as renegade, strategically kooky, ballsy, bohemian, intuitive, ruthless, and loving. So those are the adjectives that she's using.
I mean, she's being really positive towards herself.
She's not using oily.
Yeah. And I guess and I should, commend her. 'cause
Haggard.
Right, I
kind
think
of like Amish. She says Amish witch at some point in the book.
Oh, she constantly says, women, they're either witches or cunts. All throughout history, all they know how to do is say that we're witches or cunts. In any other country, if you are black, you're a witch or a cunt. Not New York City, baby. Like, it's always witches and cunts. Oh, and she, like, takes her daughter to Salem every year because she loves...
So epic.
She loves that they say that, yeah, witch actually means woman in total control of herself.
Ooh, yes.
She wants to impart that lesson onto her daughter.
I do, because Ava is what, in Kellner 7? So I want to know what Ava's up to, her daughter.
Ava has a aspiring modeling career from looking at her. I follow Kelly on Instagram.
Okay.
So it's kind of a
And
Lisa Rinna's daughter vibe?
Now that Ava's like coming of age, she's really like angling for her to be a
Can I
model
ask
or
what the
whatever.
tit situation is?
Of Ava?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think normal, like not,
Okay.
I don't know. No, she's not incredibly busty.
Well, that's good if she wants to be a model.
No, well, I was going to say,
Yeah,
because
I mean,
I was
she's
like,
just not-
she's Italiano, so I actually was
Thinking that she might
thinking it
actually
was going
be
to
a
be
little
bustier.
racked and stacked.
She's 19. She did a photo shoot for Vogue recently, and
I
she
don't-
looks so beautiful.
I'm not seeing it.
I mean, it's just hard. It's talent's not transmittable.
No. Well, I mean, it's not like Kelly Cutrone was a model, so I don't know why the daughter
No, but
would
even
be.
with like Kate Moss's daughter, you know, it's like we're like all like entertaining it and being like, haha, yeah, like open Mew Mew, and you're like,
And she
like,
has...
Well, but what do we think of
She's-
Kaya Gerber?
She's zero. I think Kaya Gerber's
Charmless.
horrible. Charmless. None of the... I said this on Twitter the other day, and I'll repeat myself. None of the new girls have an ounce of compelling attitude at all. They don't do anything. And when you look at the way that models used to pose and you look at these old pictures
Yeah.
of Janice
No,
Dickinson,
I'm with you.
she was like having fun and being crazy and making different expressions and moving her body in different ways. And I'm sorry, Kaya, Bella, Gigi, Kendall, this girl, Lila
this is-
Moss,
no,
like
she's just
Okay,
standing
sorry.
still.
they're all
Kelly Cutrone's
dead. They're
daughter
all dead.
looks like a slightly hotter than this viral makeup artist that we love, Michaela.
the Boston
The
base.
Boston-based, like, Mua.
Yeah.
Like, she's just, like, a less crazy-looking Michaela.
No, she looks like a Pittsburgh-based Moa. I'm not saying it.
She's got
I
interesting
guess I just don't.
enough features.
It's that thing
but-
where it's like your mom's in fashion. I don't know. It's like I want her to. I mean, she's 19. She needs to obviously go on her journey, but
Of
I
course.
think these girls who stop being models, and you know that I'm very open about my issue with Ella Emhoff. I'm just kind of just like, if your mom is famous, you should be like, think that that's not cool. Like, you should be like, yeah, it's fucking embarrassing that mom was like famous. Like, I'm actually interested in other stuff. You should not be like courting media attention. Like, that's horrifying.
no,
Sorry.
that's nice. She
That's
should,
not punk.
Yeah,
No,
she
it's
should be
not.
like in. I mean,
Kelly Cutrone should know better.
at least
Right, if she claims to be
Don't
such
voice her daughter.
at least
into, like,
fucking Willow
Vogue
Smith.
lifestyle.
And she says she's such a punk who wears all black and like dated that punk guy in Syracuse or whatever and like loves
yeah.
the Ramones and loves Fanny. What's they called? The dead. What?
Dead Kennedys.
Kennedys.
No, the Full Metal Jackets. What were you guys saying? That band?
Fine young cannibals.
Fine Young
Well,
Cannibals.
she was a publicist for them.
For
She
them.
didn't-
Whatever. She thinks she's so cool to be punk, and yet she's letting her daughter like
I
cash
know.
in on her like
she should know better.
B-list
Absolutely.
celebrity to be a model.
Absolutely.
But it's like that's not punk.
No.
She should be, I don't know, more like her conservative Italian father who's just being like, you're moving to New York City, here's a $2,000 check, and you don't ever ask me for anything else, you know? And it's like,
Yeah. No, because it's like
I wanna
lessons,
see this
lessons,
girl-
hard lessons. Teach the daughter lessons.
Please.
Where are the lessons?
please teach
Yeah,
this
yeah,
girl a
yeah.
lesson. Okay. How does she live? I don't know, fucking, again,
I
messy
mean,
boots.
Can we just say it? 1, 2, 3.
Buddha.
Like, she's so Buddha.
She's
Yeah.
She's
so much more Buddha. It's like we've said Buddha, 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 but it's like every other page of this book is
Well,
Buddha.
okay. Do you think she lives in LA or New York truly? I know she's bi-coastal,
Truly
but like,
think she lives in New York.
I kind of am feeling LA.
I think Dasha's right. I think that she's LA now. I think at a
I
certain
think
point.
she likes the like spaciousness
Laurel
and the
Canyon.
Erewhon and
And-
the like she's because people in New York would call her on her bullshit too much, so she has to be in LA.
She was like working as PR for like Michael Jackson or something in the early 90s. She's only come down the ladder since the 90s. So at a certain point, you can't be still living in New York and have like used to represent Steve Madden 10 years ago. It's kind of just like, but in LA, no one's going to judge you for that and it's fine. You don't feel the need to be like as with it and contemporary.
I mean, and
So she
the
would-
Hills is LA.
Right, I think you
the
guys-
city's New York, but I feel like she just has more cachet. People's Revolution.
It's the most
as
LA
a
name.
brand.
Yes, it's so
has
LA.
more like Los Angeles
Because
cachet.
LA is more Buddha.
You guys are fully right, and I'm gonna rescind what I said. And I think what I'm
Vocab to the boots.
I think it's like she's so LA, and it's like you guys are so right. And just every second she can in LA, she references like living on Avenue C.
Yes. Yes.
Speaking of vocab, Kelly Cutrone was the first person who, in my initial reading of her book, was the first person I ever heard use the word buku.
Wait, when
What is buku mean?
In the 30s list,
Sorry.
she says,
No,
when
no.
you're in your 30s, you're making buku money.
Boku.
Boku.
You're the French word. It means a lot in French.
Wait, but buku sounds like also something.
And I do like buku.
Like it's a buku money tonight.
I've been saying buku.
Have you been saying buku your
Are
whole
you
life?
at a
my whole
restaurant?
life.
You're like, yes, buku to money, y'all. Oh, we drinking buku tonight.
You get that?
But I learned that from Kelly Cutrone, and I've been saying buku. And
the check
boku.
clears. You're like, oh, we
I'm like,
buku today.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm making buku money?
Ooh.
Okay, but boku, got it.
Real
okay.
buku hours. Who up?
Boku. I guess
Buku.
Buku.
her vibe. I guess okay. The other just only reason, and I will defend my answer why I say New York is
You
because
already rescinded.
I did
vocab,
rescind, but I'm
bitch.
also seeing her in Poughkeepsie and COVID vote mask.
Yeah.
Oh, she's definitely wearing a vote
Definitely.
mask in Hudson. No question.
She had a vote mask and then she threw it and it's like a landfill. And now we all have to just manage
No, she gave it to a homeless person in Tompkins Square Park. She handed out vote masks. There
She
there
bought
she
a
goes.
bunch. She went to RBG.com, ordered a pack of 12, and started just giving them out to homeless people. Okay, who are you in the book?
Wow.
Guest of honor, Dasha.
I mean, so you're studying to be Kelly Cutrone,
Yeah,
but
you are Kelly Cutrone.
No,
You're obviously not.
because my character is not Kelly Cutrone. She's not like a high power publicist. She's
like an
she's like a
assistant?
middling assistant. I'm
She's an
literally an
iPad
assistant.
girl.
Oh, okay.
But also, I think I'm the intern who wrote the blog post.
Oh my
like,
God!
detailing.
That gets her fired.
Yeah. I'm the intern who wrote the blog post about how terrible it was to work for People's Revolution. That then Kelly Cutrone called on the phone and said, "You signed an NDA. I'm going to sue you to shit."
You violated the
Yes,
NDA.
bitch.
I'm the bitch who violated the NDA.
Yeah.
That's
I see
love
that
that,
for you.
yeah.
No, I mean because you're known for your mouth. That controversial bitch. She'll let anything fall out of those lips.
exactly.
And your blog
yeah.
gets so famous.
It gets so many
Yeah.
hits.
I'm so blogger. I'm
you-
so like
you wake
I'm
up
gonna
and-
spill the tea about my time with Kelly. Like I'm
What about your incredibly low-level interactions with her?
exactly. I'm like I saw Kelly today. She fell down in her Prada boots. Like that's definitely.
Your friend is leaving Wasteland. Hey, Dasha, have you seen the blogs? You're blowing up. You're like,
up.
wait, I'm just waking up. Like, wait, what? Open that like huge like.
Then I get
I'm
the
out.
call. Then I get the call, and Kelly's like, "I'm gonna sue you and your whole family." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I better take it down real quick."
I
Like,
love when she says, I'm going to sue your whole family. That's Italian.
No, that is how she. All of a sudden, at the end of the book, it gets like full of mob wives. She's like, "That's Italian, and that's Italian, and that's Italian." And you're like, "Okay, paisan." Steven, you.
Am I one of the
You're a
interracial
denim
couples who's like making out in the gallery and the height of the
you're a
culture
gay
wars?
intern.
Okay.
I think
He's a
you're
general gay intern, yeah.
Steven. I think you're the gay
Oh, wait,
person
who
she
becomes her
makes,
partner?
Who becomes her partner?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who then she sells the company to?
Yes.
Yes, Ken or whatever.
Yeah.
Mikal.
Like mix something. I'm so buying the company. She would like, I'm sorry, I'm super stressed. Will you buy this for me for $45,000?
And you're
I'd
like,
be like,
oh, let me look at my wallet. Actually, I have $45,000 spare in cash. I can actually do that today. Weird. Okay, but yeah.
I am that gay. And I also picture that gay, like, so this is partly because I'm watching Bethany's show, but there's a gay on Bethany's show who I unfortunately identify with who has like the most just like, shaped eyebrows and like is wearing like so like wearing like makeup for men in that way that like make men
Yes.
now do, where they're wearing like just enough concealer that
No,
you
it's
don't
like
notice.
a spread on concealer. I mean,
And he writes Bethany this really obsequious letter because she fires him, and then he's just like, I admire you and I love you so much, and I think you're an incredible entrepreneur, and I want the chance to work for you again. And she rehires him.
you are that, but you're also what you said. Kelly Cutrone is working door. One of her girls are working door, and you are you who gets like into the exclusive random Mercer party for Steve Madden.
Weinberg and Associates.
Weinberg.
I'd been
I mean-
craving a partner who could have lent professional support and fetched with me over the insane people and situations that fill my day. Jason was Jewish, gay, charming, and dashing.
Well,
and what we lacked
Well,
in
here
knowledge,
we
we
go.
more than made up for in attitude.
That's the way that so many straight girls have described me as Jewish and dashing. Ironically, even though it was
Are
called,
you Jewish?
I was called anti-Semitic today by someone who was trying to cancel me.
Ooh.
In
However,
the same post?
by this person,
The ageist?
I'll
Okay,
tell
we'll
you
talk
the
about
full
it
story later. But most people think I'm Jewish,
Yep, many
including
do.
most of my close friends.
I don't.
Oh.
But
I would say thank you, but that would sound anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
But I grew up in
That's
a
in
Jewish.
now, though,
I
so.
grew up in a Jewish neighborhood. I was very familiar with Jewish culture growing up. But I would imagine that a Kelly Cutrone like person would just be like, oh, another gay Jew who I can't.
great. Get
You're
this
right.
Great
Get it, man.
fold.
Jew.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a little like leather bound folio with.
Well,
papers
here's the
in
thing.
it.
You have a satchel, and she
yes,
takes
a
no shit,
satchel.
and she talks crazy, and that's the thing. It's like, and you don't mind talking crazy to her.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. You go in.
I can give it. I can dish it like I can take it.
Yeah.
Who am I in the book?
Who are you?
Okay, I'll say it. It's not in the
I
book.
mean, let's just say she doesn't like know. Oh wait, she like doesn't know any lesbians.
But she references
she references
one.
that one lesbian couple who she thinks is her competition to get into a private
Yes,
school.
a private school. She's like, and that's your worst enemy, an interracial lesbian couple for a private school. Who I don't think I am. I think my former cleaning company that I used to work for, I think they're sending me to Kelly Cutrone's
Yes.
People's Revolution loft office.
Yeah.
And she's saying, very nervous about price, do details, do this. I'm going once, and Kelly Cutrone is complaining about me so much. And she's like, this person was disgusting. They missed the bathroom. They missed the corner.
And then she's still rehiring you.
Yes, and I'm going back, and I have to, and they're like, and I'm going back randomly for free to clean my mistakes.
Yes.
And then maybe a third time, and then she's done.
But then Kelly is taking you to like the muffin place or whatever.
Maybe she's gotten me a
She's giving you a
muffin,
muffin
yeah.
because she's like, my homeless
She's like,
maid.
here you go.
Here's your muffin.
And this is your lesson, and you're going to conquer the world
You
and
didn't send
become
the
a
right
she-wolf.
kind of email, and you're not really cut out for this, but
I
here
see
you go.
something else in you.
Well, I think we nailed it.
Yeah. Y'all, I give this a freaking 10 out of 10. I'm obsessed with this
know.
book.
I mean,
Really
as our guest has noted, it's the kind of book you can read 3, maybe even 4 times.
Just revisit it over and over the course of your life, and like pay attention to the advice that Kelly has to give you, because it's taken me really far.
yeah, like, no,
think
sorry,
it's
you're literally
right.
on Succession.
Listen,
and
ultimately, you're on Succession. Like, and I do think, you know, one of her main things is like, go do that thing you think you might want to do. Like, I feel like she has some. I feel like she has some cutoff. She's like until you're like 35 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Which that's true.
It's really a book for people like in their 20s, early 30s.
20s,
who
early
are, like,
30s.
are lost. And that's when I read it. And look at me now.
That's
so.
very much the age of us and the age of our listeners. And I think that like
pick it up.
if you have any even scant idea in your head of like, oh, I want to record a reggae album in Vancouver. I want to marry like a muscly Greek guy. I want to be in a throuple in Sao Paulo. Like, do those things now and figure out if you like them or not.
Because she says, the more you find out actually
Yes.
that thing doesn't work for you, then the closer you get to the thing that doesn't want. It's like, great. So you actually don't like fixing muscle cars. Now you know. You're not going to wonder till you're 80.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, well, go to Sao Paulo. As Meghan McCain says, buy the ticket, take the ride.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes. Horns up, Megan.
I would like to thank our guests so much for joining us.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming.
I'm so happy to be here. I love the pod. It's really the only pod I listen to.
Well, okay, huge.
Wow. Do you not even listen to your own?
No.
Yeah, same. I don't listen to my pod either.
My boyfriend's from Boston, so there's like something for everyone.
Oh, great. Oh, wait.
Get out of town. Get out. No, sir.
Does he listen?
Yeah. I listen to it with my boyfriend when we like drive places.
Wait, that's so hot when your boyfriend has a car.
Yeah, and drives.
And we just listen to it and we laugh a lot and we have a good time. Yeah.
That's so cute.
Okay, that's the cutest thing I've ever heard. A couple where one person's from Boston and they listen
Wait, no, that
to
actually
a
like,
pod.
is the
Because
cutest
I'm
thing I've ever heard.
LGBT friendly. He's from Boston. And like, so
And
it's
he's
like
very
really...
LGBT unfriendly, as
Can
men
I actually
should
get
be.
your contact info? I would love to put you in a gallery show I'm thinking of. Yeah, listen to us or whatever. Leave a review at CBC The Pod.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dasha.
Thank you so much, Dasha.
Listen to Red Scare. Watch her
Leave a
on
review for Red
Succession.
Scare. Leave a review for Succession on iTunes. Get those HBO Max subscriptions fired up, bitches.
Hell yeah, we doing this.
Renew now. And we will see you next week.
And our next book is Ellen DeGeneres' book on design.
It's called
Design or something.
called Design or
we'll
something.
fill you in later.
Yeah. But like you get the idea. Thank you so much. We love you.
We love you.
Best.
Celebrity Book Club is presented by Prologue Projects and HeadGum. The show is produced by Meg Murnane, my warrior, and my sister, with editorial support from Leon Nafok, my ex-husband, Andrew Parsons, and Madeline Kaplan. Our production manager is Persia Verlin. Engineering by Ferris Monchi. I don't work with him anymore. Original theme song by Stephen Phillips Horse. He's such a fucking rock star. Artwork by Teddy Blanks at Chips NY. Follow us on Twitter at CBC The Pod. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Leave us a review and don't forget to tell your friends about us.
That was a HeadGum podcast.